Good evening, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our service. We are going to begin all the way in the back of the prayer book this evening on page 662. Page 662, you'll find Achat Sha'alti, which is from Psalm 27, a special psalm I'm going to talk about later on, that we recite leading up to the High Holy Days, which are nearly upon us. So we're going to start this song as a nigun, just to remind you of the tune without the words, and then we'll add the words in after we remember the tune. Continue our service now with the kindling of the Shabbat candles, and I'd like to invite George and Maureen Glasser forward to light the candles for us this evening.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to make the words to all speak into our hearts and lives. Bless all those who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hails us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue now with the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. We turn to page 132 for Or Zarua, which can be found all the way at the bottom of the page. Or Zarua, light dawns for the righteous. We welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst with the singing of Lecha Dodi on pages 138 and 139. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, miuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet velitila, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi makor habracha, merosh mikadem nasucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzola, toch emunei am sigula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabla. The Chatzi Kaddish is found on page 144. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei rabba, Belmadi v'rach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomeichon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagala, uv'izman kariv, ve'imeru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevorach, le'alam u'lalmei amaya, yitbarach ve'yishabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shemei dekutsha berichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran belma, ve'imeru amen. Please rise for the Baruch Hu, page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteham barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. On your green song sheet, open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know seated. We continue with the Ve'ahavta, page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtacha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohim אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני Elohechem. We read together, You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. This next reading is not found in your prayer book. It is from the Reform Movement's newer High Holy Day prayer book, Mishkan HaNefesh. You have stayed long enough in this place, God said. Time to go forward. Turn your face to the future. Believe that you can cross this sea and survive. Inside you is a Moses. Within you, Miriam dances, unafraid. Lift up your voice and sing a new song. Mi Chamocha, page 158. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, o seifele, nora tehilot, o seifele, malchutecha ra'u לפני משה ומרים, זילי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. On page 160, we pray for God's sheltering presence of peace with Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amor Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol Eloheinu leshalom, v'amideinu shomreinu lechayim. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. We rise for the tefillah on page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, V'zocher chasei avot v'imachot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, Leman shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem amunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech, melech memit, Umchaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalaluhu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. I'm going to continue with a reading back on page 167. Some perished by fire, some by water. Some crossed the sea or watered the desert. Some starved all week to make a Shabbat feast. Some were left childless until old age. Some lifted their chins beneath a father's knife. Those who came before us gave everything so that we, generations later, could glorify you. And despite the dangers, with your protection, some did survive and even flourished. Some reaped in joy, were spared the knife, were granted children. We are their inheritors, O God, and we know how rare is our good fortune to be born to such hard-won treasures. A great responsibility is ours, and yours as well, for if you do not sustain us, as you did Abraham and Sarah, Rebekah and Isaac, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, then who will sing your praises? Who will lift their chins, as we do now, to sanctify your name? We continue now on page 176 with Modim, our prayer of gratitude. Modim anachnu lach. Modim. We read together on page 178. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. We pause at this moment in our Shabbat service to think of those in our communities, our loved ones who are in need of healing, whether healing of body, mind, or spirit. We pray especially today, we are sending healing prayers to Eloise Rapino, Joel Levitan, Sharon Yalen, and Elliot Fight. And I also invite you to share the names of your loved ones with us aloud. Misha Berach, the prayer for healing can be found on page 371. Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We pause now for a moment of silent prayer. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sing to you, and not be still. This is on your song sheet. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sing to you, and did not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Decca, sorry about the typo. Now I sing praises to the Holy One, who lifts me up when I have fallen. And I cry to you to heal me, and you have answered all my prayers. Now I sing praises to the Holy One, who lifts me up when I have fallen. And I cry to you to heal me, and you have answered all my prayers. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Decca, I ask that you be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I have called to you to help me, and you've supported me with joy. I ask that you be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I have called to you to help me, and you've supported me with joy. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, I give my thanks to you. Oh Decca, you turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sing to you, and it not be still. You turn my mourning into dancing. You turn my mourning into dancing. You turn my mourning into dancing. In 1960, Mohini, a white tiger from India, was purchased by the American billionaire John W. Klug, maybe is how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, and brought to the United States to live in the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Mohini lived a long life here in the US, had many children, got to meet President Eisenhower, and enjoyed some fame as one of the world's only rare white tigers. Tara Brock is a meditation teacher and psychologist who tells a story about Mohini the tiger in her book, Radical Acceptance. The story is more of an urban legend. There's no evidence it's actually true, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, as told by Tara in her book. Mohini was a regal white tiger who lived for many years at the Washington, D.C. National Zoo. For most of those years, her home was in the old lion house, a typical 12 by 12 foot cage with iron bars and a cement floor. Mohini spent her days pacing restlessly back and forth in her cramped quarters. Eventually, biologists and staff worked together to create a natural habitat for her. Covering several acres, it had hills, trees, a pond, and a variety of vegetation. With excitement and anticipation, they released Mohini into her new and expansive environment. But it was too late. The tiger immediately sought refuge in a corner of the compound, where she lived for the remainder of her life. Mohini paced and paced in that corner until an area 12 by 12 feet was worn bare of grass. She concludes, "Perhaps the biggest tragedy in our lives is that freedom is possible, yet we can pass our years trapped in the same old patterns." We are in the midst of the month of Elul, the month on the Jewish calendar leading up to Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. According to Jewish tradition, this month is one of introspection, of beginning to turn inward to examine our behavior over the past year and evaluate how to move forward. In some communities, penitentiary prayers, known in Hebrew as slichot, are said daily throughout the month, and the shofar is blown every day as a gradual beginning of waking ourselves up, of coming out of the stupor that has been our automated behavior and beginning to take notice. For communities like ours and many other communities whose ancestry traces its roots to Eastern Europe, the very last day to begin the penitentiary prayers, or the first day for us, is tomorrow. And tomorrow evening, we'll be gathering next door at the Sikach Center for Havdalah and Slichot prayers at 7:30 p.m. As we live our daily lives, we can't constantly be looking inward and examining our souls. We'd never get anything done. But as we prepare for Rosh Hashanah, to celebrate the birthday of the world, to celebrate all that we are blessed with, we begin the process of taking stock of our deeds and giving serious thought to how our behavior affects the world around us. One of the ways our tradition guides us to do this is by reciting Psalm 27 daily throughout the month of Elul. We began our service, and we will also conclude with verse 4, Achat Sha'alti. A contemporary translation of the psalm by Rabbi Brant Rosen is on your handout. So I invite you to get your handout and read this psalm out loud responsively with me. You are my light and my hope. Why should I fear? You are my life and my strength, so why do I tremble? I only ask one thing of you, just this one thing, that I may be welcome in your house all the days of my life, to dwell in your innermost place in safety beneath the softness of your wings. Do you hear my song? Do you hear me when I cry to you? Do not turn away. I seek you endlessly. I turn constantly toward your light. Guide me in your ways. Lead me down the paths of wholeness and peace. Remind me that no matter how far I may stray, there is always a road to return. Hold on to your hope and be strong. The time of our return will soon arrive. So what does it mean to be or to live in God's house? What does it mean to return or to pray for return each year? Where have we wandered to? And how do we know when we return? How can we urge ourselves to return, to come back to ourselves and our loved ones, even in the midst of upheaval or distress? Psalm 27 challenges us each day of this month to deepen our connection, examine our approach, and even at times of great darkness, to hold on to hope. Let us learn from the legend of Mohini, the white tiger, to challenge our limited 12 by 12 environments and not continue to beat the same familiar paths to the same familiar conclusions. I hope you'll join us tomorrow evening at our Slichot service as we continue this inquiry into our deeper selves. As we enter this high holy day season, may we be blessed with insight and hope and come closer to wholeness, a sense of shalom. Then we can walk forward, beating a new path together. We have just a few announcements this evening. I would like to invite Joe Rosenberg forward to share them with us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Kiddush this evening is in loving memory of Sharon Kalnez, mother and grandmother to Scott and Julie Kalnez and family. The Oneg Shabbat is sponsored in loving memory of Marcia Dolan from her family. The Bima flowers this evening are in honor of Lola Grace Lenovitz Bat Mitzvah, which will be tomorrow, from her family. We look forward to Rabbi Jamie Gibson leading services on Friday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. He will also be leading Pascha and prayer on that Saturday, September 24th at 10:30 a.m. The table for the High Holiday Food Drive is up outside the office. Feel free to drop off your items anytime during the week or before services. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Joe. We continue now with the Aleinu on page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakenu kaham, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim livnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. ונאמר, לה' למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. This past February, we gathered here to say goodbye to Marcia Dolan, beloved mother, grandmother, wife, family member, and friend. Tonight, we dedicate a plaque on our memorial wall in her memory. Marcia Toby Dolan, that's M-A-R-C-I-A, was the only child of Jack and Ida Erlin, whose business, Toby's Market, was named after her. She met her husband Ed at The Ohio State University, and after a brief stay in Germany, they settled in Toledo and opened Monroe Pharmacy, which they ran together from 1960 until Ed's passing in 2016. Marcia lived a full and vibrant life. She was a huge Buckeye fan, a life master at bridge, and loved to sew, knit, and crochet. She was incredibly devoted to her children and grandchildren, attending all of their events, hosting sleepovers at her house, boating with the family on Lake Erie, teaching her children her special recipes, and maintaining a very busy social calendar, always planning for the future. As we dedicate her memorial plaque this evening, let us dedicate ourselves to the central lesson that Marcia taught during her lifetime, that life is about caring for those you love the most. Marcia never wasted an opportunity to show her family or friends how much she cared for them. Whether she was working, playing, or making new friends, she lived her life to be with people and care for others. And for her whole life, she never let anything, not illness or distance or any other obstacle, get in the way of her expressing her love for others. As we continue on with life without her, let us pay tribute to Marcia by living our lives as she taught, by striving to be lighthearted, caring, devoted, loving, and selfless, by being there for our loved ones, and by teaching others through our actions what true love and caring is all about. Tonight, as we dedicate her memorial plaque, we remember Marcia with great affection. She is deeply missed by her family and friends. Tonight, we also remember those in our congregational family who have died in recent days and weeks, for whom the period of Shiva or Shloshim is being observed. Rose Weitzel and Kyle Andrew Schwartz. We also remember those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of death, is observed on this Shabbat. Edith Bilstein, Ruby Farkas, Sophie Feldman, Louis Fischler, Marcia Friedman, Greg Glasser, Jeanette F. Harris, Jeanette Isaacson, Louis Jacobson, Sharon Kalnez, Philip R. Kimmelman, Rosalind Kirk, Arthur Klein, Miriam N. Kobacker, Celia Brodsky-Lahaney, Lucille Kaiden-Levitt, Samuel Mainwald, Shep Mandel, Milford Myers, Marjorie Miller, Claire Hausman-Moss, Ronald S. Neufeld, MD, Marvin Parisky, Lil Perman, Gary Porras, Harry Robinson, Raymond Z. Russell, Weddell Schiff, Ingeborg Sperling, Evelyn S. Thal, Ross Truhaft, Marjorie Wasserman, and Jack Wilk. We rise now as one community and recite the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitz gadal vi kadash shemei rabbah, belma divarach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar v'yit ale v'yit halal shemei dekud shah barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav uyaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. As we say together, amen. We will conclude as we began by singing Psalm 27, verse 4, Achat Sha'alti, which you can find on page 662. After the singing of Achat Sha'alti, I want to invite you to join us for Kiddush and the Oneg Shabbat, which will be just outside the sanctuary at the foot of the stairs to the library.
Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai, o ta'avake.
Shabbat Shalom.